We're going to talk about SEO tips and tricks. So let's get started. And throughout this series, we're going to have a few tips to share with you. And we'll start out with tip number 1, opt for smarter ways to do keyword research. And so if you listen to any of our SEO tutorials in the past, you know that keyword research is the first step, but the most crucial step in starting SEO. So when we do keyword research, we want to be able to basically find keywords that we feel are relevant to our business that we want to be found on search for. And so here are a few tips that can help you do that research in a more efficient manner. The first thing we want to do is identify a list of keywords that are relevant. So we only want to focus on relevant keywords for our business. That's a given. So what I would suggest is, as a best practice, maybe, put down some of those keywords in a spreadsheet. So think of them as a theme of keywords, because when you do research, you're going to want to include a theme of keywords related to one another so you can pick the best ones out of that theme. And so as an example, if we have a company that sells dried figs, in a spreadsheet, as an example, if I show you a spreadsheet, maybe we want to focus in on just dried fig, and maybe we want to focus in on dried fig recipes. So go ahead and put those in a column, some of these keywords that, you want to be found for. So that's really the first step. They need to be relevant, so put them in a spreadsheet so that you can build keywords around that list. Then we want to choose keywords. And when we choose keywords, we want to have some criteria around choosing them. And so we always want to choose keywords with a lot of volume. And what I mean by volume, I mean how many people on average type in that keyword or a related keyword per month. The second criteria is the keyword or product fit, meaning, is the keyword relevant? You always want to stay true to relevancy. The third is commercial intent. What is the intent of the keyword? Is it trying to get us a sale? Is it answering a question? So what is the intent of that keyword? And then last, it's difficulty. So we want to definitely take a look at how difficult a keyword is to rank for on organic search. So that's some of the criteria. You may have some additional criteria that you want to use, but this is the criteria basically for choosing keywords. So again, we want to prefer keywords with high volume. You want to be careful of seasonality. So remember seasonality. In this example, Christmas tree, you're only going to have a spike, during the the October, November, December months. So be careful of seasonality when choosing high volume keywords. And again, keywords that are relevant to your product, even though it doesn't have much search volume, relevancy always trumps volume or any other metric. Commercial intent. So we want to look at keywords that, for example, have buy in them. They may have low search volume, but if somebody's typing in that keyword, then we can insinuate that the consumer who typed in that keyword is ready to make the purchase. So we want to look at what the intent is of that keyword. And then again, the difficulty. Always opt for keywords that have low difficulty or competition. And so in order to get these metrics, we can use third-party tools. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of third-party tools you can use that will give you some of this information. So the first tool I'm going to show you is Google Ads Keyword Planner. So if I'm having a Google Ads account, I could simply go to Tools and then choose the Keyword Planner. And from there, I want to find new keywords. So if I choose the keyword dried figs, because that's the keyword I put in my spreadsheet that I'm interested in optimizing for, and then maybe dried fig recipes. That was the other keyword theme. So if I enter those two keywords in, just to begin with, basically what Google is going to give me is the average search monthly volume. So here I can see dried figs. I have an average monthly search volume, 8,100. That means on average, over the last 12 months, that's how many people have typed in that keyword. Here I can see a little bit of a trend. I just hover my mouse over that graph. I could see, again, for seasonality impact, if there is any seasonality, what the volume is on average per month. Then I could see the competition is high. And because this is Google Ads, because it's paid search, they're going to give me a sense or an idea of what I should be bidding on that keyword. Now that's another topic for another day, but it's good information to have because if you're not ranking for a keyword, you could decide to bid on it for paid search. So don't discard the bidding information. Go ahead and put it in a spreadsheet for later use. But for now, we're focused in on keywords that are relevant, how much volume, how much competition, okay? So once I get this information here, I can simply go back to my spreadsheet and put that information in there. What's the volume for dried fig? What is the competition? Now for competition, notice that Google Ads gives us a high or low. Now, if we're trying to measure ratio between volume and competition, we want to get an actual sense of what that competition is. So what I always do as a best practice is go into Google search. If I go to Google search and I type in dried figs, I'm going to see the actual volume is 34,500,000. So I could see that's the actual search volume for this particular keyword. However, if I add a syntax called all in title before that keyword with a colon, space, and then hit enter, then I could see the actual volume reduces to 31,000. And basically what this tells me is that 31,000 listings or results have the keyword dried figs in the title tag. So if a web page has dried fig, our targeted keyword in the title tag, then ideally we can insinuate that that page is trying to rank for that keyword. So therefore, in order for us to rank number one on Google, we have to jump over 31,000 results. So we want to be able to include this information into our keyword analysis. So if I go into our keyword analysis here and I go ahead and enter in that information. So what's my keyword? My keyword is dried figs. Okay. My volume was 8,100. My competition was 31,000. And so that gives me a ratio of 81 divided by 31,000. If I make that into a percentage, basically 26%. So that's my keyword effectiveness index, or KEI, or ratio between volume and competition. And so that's a way that you can gather information, is by using Google Ads, enter the information into a spreadsheet, and then sort all your data by KEI. You could sort it by volume, you could sort it by competition. All these metrics matter. Alternatively, as another tool, you can use Moz. So Moz has a keyword explorer tool. Okay, so if I type in the keyword dried figs, focusing on the United States, I could see that Moz says, hey, look, there's anywhere between 4,300 and 6,500 in terms of volume. Out of 100, the difficulty is 41. And so I can expect a click-through rate of 41%. And so basically, the great thing about Moz's Keyword Explorer tool is I can also look at the SERP analysis, search engine results pages, what SERP stands for, and I can analyze the SERP for a particular keyword in Moz. So I want to be able to understand what my competition's doing. So here I could see if I really want to try and optimize for that keyword, I could see what the other pages are ranked for that keyword on page 1. I can also see what local results show up for that keyword. So here I can see that we have a number of different sites listed here. So if we want to be number 1, these are the sites that are basically above us that we need to climb over to be number 1 on Google. So I find that the Keyword Explorer tool in Moz is very helpful for understanding your competition, as well as getting an alternative check on volume and competition, or difficulty, if you will. And so remember, we want to identify a list of keywords that are relevant. I can't stress that enough. We want to choose keywords based on difficulty. We want to choose keywords based on volume, on commercial intent, and more important, relevancy. We can also identify trends from a site search query like Amazon and know what your competitors are ranking for. So we can also go back into Moz and we can see, just by typing in some of the keywords we're focusing on, we can see if our competitors are ranking for the same keywords just by using that Keyword Explorer tool. And then another thing we want to look at is LSI, or latent semantic indexing. So that's a fancy word, which basically means we want to find keywords related to the topic of the page you're trying to optimize. So if there are other keywords on that page, then you could sway in that direction. And so when it comes to choosing keywords, you want to choose always a primary and secondary keyword. And so if we go back to our spreadsheet, it doesn't necessarily always have to be just one keyword. It doesn't necessarily have to be dried figs. We could choose another keyword that has a good volume to competition ratio. So we want to choose keywords that are always relevant. And if we're analyzing nothing but relevant keywords, then we want to be able to choose keywords that have a good ratio between volume and competition. So you always want to choose at least 2 keywords per page. We could also stay up to date on industry news, as will help you learn new jargon. So it doesn't hurt to subscribe to sites like Search Engine Watch or Search Engine Land. They have lots of good tips. So here I'll show you what one of those sites look like. If I simply just go to searchenginewatch.com. I find this is a good resource to stay up on the latest news when it comes to search engines. Here we could see why SEO and front-end developers are the perfect search marketing team. Another article about optimizing your channel, YouTube channel in 5 easy steps. So there's a lot of information here on Search Engine Watch that pertain to SEO and keyword research. We could also look at other third-party sites like Wikipedia, Reddit, and Quora, for example. So if I go to Quora, I can do a search for dried figs, and I could see what's being written about that topic. So that should give me some ideas to build a keyword, a list around. So for example, the health benefits of dried figs. Okay, are dried figs safe for diabetes? Best ways to eat dried figs. So those are all good keyword themes that we could build a keyword list around. And I did that simply just by typing in dried figs on Quora. So that's a good tip for you to leverage when you're trying to build out a keyword list.